I just finished Sex in the City and Life Changing. I've watched it before, but I binged it again. I wanted to do an entire tier list, kind of talking about my thoughts on the main characters of the show, and I will be talking about my thoughts on the two movies at the end. It'll probably be a longer video, so stay tuned in. But we're starting off at the top. At S tier, I got Miranda. I'm sorry, Miranda is the best character. Miranda is the best character. I asked my friends a while ago, like, which character I was giving. They said Miranda. After watching it again, I can confirm, yeah, Miranda is me, because sometimes you just have to, like, be honest and, like, say it how it is. Does that mean to necessarily be rude? No, but like Miranda is just always gonna like give her take on something and like keep it real with people, okay? And like that's me, okay? Like, don't ask me my honest opinion on something and then I gave you my opinion and then you get mad. You ask me my opinion, and like that's what Miranda is. Like, I love that Miranda is like so independent and everything like that, and that she's always honest, okay? Especially in that one episode after the whole Big and Natasha situation where Carrie literally has an affair with Big, okay? And they ended up getting a divorce and everything, and then Carrie's gonna go have lunch with him because he's upset about Natasha. And then she tells Miranda about, she's like, oh, I thought you were gonna judge. And Miranda was like, okay, but you always like turn into like a victim when you're with him and everything, and he humiliates you and you're always willing to go back for more, and I don't want to hear this again. And Carrie was getting all mad. I'm sorry, Miranda ate. She put her in her place. 9 times out of 10, Miranda was getting into an argument with somebody. She wasn't wrong, and she ended up having to apologize anyways. I'm like, what? Miranda was right 9 times out of 10. Okay, so Miranda ate. Justice for Miranda. The whole Steve storyline pissed me off and everything, because Steve wanted to leave her because he mad that, you know, she can pay off and everything for his suit because he was insecure, and then they ended up getting back together, which was a whole thing. That doctor, she should have been with that doctor, Dr. Robert Leeds. That was what Miranda needed. That's what Miranda needed. She needed somebody else at the top of their field, not Steve. Man, fuck Steve. Okay, Miranda, top one. I don't give a fuck. S tier. And then next up, we got A tier. I decided to put Charlotte. One thing that kind of annoys me is Charlotte's judgmental about the sex that all these other women are having. Like, you weren't having it too. Like, you don't have your own experience and everything. Like, sure, you have your different criteria, your different standards, but like, you're also getting down and dirty with these people too. Sometimes she be acting too self-righteous for me, and that kind of does annoy me and everything. I definitely will say that people wanted to get mad at her for not offering Carrie that money, but she was right in that situation to not offer anything. I'm sorry, Carrie, you put yourself in this position and you want to get mad at her for not offering when you spent all your money on shoes. Like, I'm supposed to be moved. I'm sorry. I know she had some good relationship moments, I will say. The whole situation with Trey, that was its own thing, and it was unfortunate how it ended, but she really tried that situation, okay? Harry, we're gonna talk about him later, okay? So there's aspects of Charlotte that I do like, that she's not like completely cynical, and that she does believe in romance, and she's always going to be there whenever you need it and everything. There's sometimes where she probably was a little too prudish, or sometimes where she was wrong, but you know, I don't mind Charlotte. And these tiers aren't in order, by the way, at all, okay? I just want to stress that. And then next up, we got Samantha. Samantha was excellent. I just really liked how sex positive that she was, and that she wasn't really going to let people kind of shun her and everything like that. I really appreciated that she was like confident in self. Like, there are kind of moments where like the way that she lives her life and everything, and like all these like one night stands, like it kind of does catch up to her. Like, people said that one episode where like none of the men will help her put up that curtain in her room that fell, and like she gets emotional about that and says that she doesn't have anyone. So I will say that. And so yeah, she got done dirty by some people. Like, Richard did her so dirty, okay? And then whenever she says, I love you, but I love you more, eight. When I tried to have her recreate that line in the movie, it didn't eat. But yeah, like, she ate that, okay? That James guy that she was with, that she had to leave, that she tried in that storyline. They kind of just were giving her a lot of storylines. One thing I will agree with people is, why did they always give her the ones where she had to be bigoted or and everything like that, or were people doing her wrong? Like, when she dated that black guy and his sister was like, oh, I don't want you dating him because he's black and you're white, like it'll never work. Like, why did she have that storyline when they made her a lesbian for like 3 weeks? It just seemed like a random storyline to like throw in there. I don't know. So like they did that, and then they had the other storyline with like that maid and everything that like hated her and everything. So there was that storyline with the people that were like standing outside of her like apartment and everything, and were like living it up and everything. Like, I don't like that. Like, and there was times where like they made her be bigoted, like saying the T slur and all those things like that. That's distasteful, okay? So like, there's just moments like that where like it just hasn't aged well. Like, whenever she got cancer and she was wearing a afro, like, that's racial insensitive. You're a white woman, why are you wearing an afro? Okay, that's not for white people. And just stuff like that. Like, why did they give her storylines like that and everything, where like it kind of led her being bigoted towards other people, or people were bigoted towards her, kind of, in a sense. But you can't really be racist to white people, but you know what I'm saying, like they were prejudiced towards her. So like they kind of gave her some fucked up storylines, I will definitely admit that. But as far as like empowerment for her and like what she was going for and like being a true self, that's what I like Samantha for. She was funny, always had a lot of funny lines, like that one about Richard Nixon. No one fucked him, so he fucked everyone. That was funny. Like she had some good storylines, some good moments. Her and Smith, yeah, top tier. And then having her break up with him in the movie because she still wanted to fuck people, I'm like, okay, let's pack it up. But her and Smith, endgame, sorry. And then next up is going to be Smith. So yeah, I just gave it all, but the fact that he supported her through the cancer and everything. And I think there was that one episode, but that one where like she wants to go fuck Richard because like he convinced her that he wants her and everything, and then like she dumps him, and then like he still stays afterward and everything like that. Like he was there for her with everything, okay? And then like they made him work too much, and then she wouldn't dump him because she wanted to go like be with other people. I didn't like that part, but yeah, like it ate, I'm sorry. And then next up, got the guy that Carrie dated that was bisexual. What was his name? I don't remember what his name was, but he was done wrong, and like their whole kind of stance on the whole bisexual thing, like that was really messed up because like people really are bisexual and stuff like that. So I didn't like that. And I will say that one thing that Samantha ate is that saying Carrie, for someone who writes a sex column, you have a very limited view on sexuality. Some of the stuff that they're saying is very distasteful. Like I said, the T-slur, like the bisexual stuff, like it's very 90s in a bad way. Some of the stuff has not aged well. Next up, we have that guy that Carrie dated in that one episode that she met, and then like he was going to a soccer game, and then she started going through stuff, and then he left her. He seemed like a good guy by all accounts. Like she messed it up, okay? And then next up, we have Aiden. Aiden was good to her, okay? Her computer fucked up. He bought her a new computer. Miranda's mom died, and he went to go support her at the funeral and everything. Like he was there for her, okay? She cheated on him with Big, messed up the whole relationship and everything. He got back with her after that, okay? And then she didn't want to get married, so then it ended again. So yeah, that was probably like a moment or two where I disagree with him, but for the most part, he was good to her, okay? Why you put him in the second movie, I don't know, but I mean, yeah. And then next up, we got Carrie. So Carrie is a mixed character, honestly, because it's like she has some moments I like, she has some moments that I don't like, and some moments where I feel like she is insensitive, okay? Like I already said, there was that moment, with Miranda that I was kind of pointing to, but Miranda was right in that moment when Charles kind of talking about her issues, and then she's like, oh, my post-it note is better. Like there's real stuff people are going through, and sometimes she's just like, oh, it's all about me, everything is more important. And you see how every time people write like fake scripts for like new events in Sex and the City, it always goes back to Big. Like that time where he was going to go out with Miranda and then she cancels because she's having dinner with Big. Like that was fucked up. Her trying to make Natasha forgive her after you had an affair with Big. Like what are you talking about? Her trying to make Aiden forgive her? Like she fucks people over and then she's like, please forgive me. Like that's what I don't like. She does stuff and then she brings it on herself, all this attention focused on Big and everything. I think she had some moments where she was a good friend and everything, being there for her friends whenever they needed her the most. She had some moments where she was judgmental. The whole situation with the Worldwide Express guy, Carrie was right in that situation. I am so sorry. That's how I feel. So she wasn't always wrong. She wasn't always right. There's some moments where you just look at her and just like, why do you keep putting yourself through this thing with Big? Like, in the first movie, whenever he basically leaves her at the altar and she still marries him anyways, like why would you do that? Like he keeps fucking her over and she keeps being with him, and just some of the stuff that she puts up with from these guys is like, why put yourself through that? So it's just like the situations that she makes sometimes are head scratching, but then she has her good moments and her funny moments as well. And regardless if you like her or not, like she was the it girl, okay? One thing about her, the fashions were gonna eat. That newspaper dress that she wore, I think it was when she went to go talk to Natasha, that ate. That was such a good look. Like she always had good looks, and people said this, but someone said Charlotte had fashion for her, and someone was like, okay, Carrie almost lost her apartment because of the drip. Okay, don't play. The fashions ate, and the hair in the beginning ate. When she had the curly hair, like I have curly hair naturally, and that's how I wish my hair would be. Like it would curl more. I think because I've hair dried it so much over the year, it doesn't curl as much near to the root as I would like. But the curly hair in the beginning ate. The card in the beginning of the show ate. Like the whole theme song of that ate as well. So you definitely have to give 10s for that as well. Yeah, she was just the it girl. She was just the main character of the show. Love her or hate her, like she just did what had to be done. No one else as Carrie Bradshaw would have ate. Sarah Jessica Parker did what she had to do in that role. So sad. Towards the ending, whenever they had that whole thing of her cutting her hair and her straightening her hair and her growing brunette, no, it was not giving. The curly hair, the curly blonde hair, that for families. So I feel conflicted on the character. She does a lot of selfish stuff. She does some good stuff. I don't know. It depends on the episode, but a lot of times she was wrong. I'm sorry. So up we got Steve. I kind of already talked about Steve earlier. He had some good moments, he had some bad moments. Having him cheat on Miranda in the movie was certainly a choice, and one that I disagree with, and one that I think was out of character. Him breaking up with her the first time because he was insecure that she could buy the suit and he couldn't. Okay. And he just had some moments where like he was immature. I haven't watched And Just Like That, so I can't comment on that. This is just talking about Sex and the City. She should have been with Leeds. I don't know what else you want me to say. And then we have Charlotte's assistant. I don't remember what his name was. Was it Anthony? I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. He had some moments where he gave. He had some moments where he didn't. I don't know. He wasn't really a main character. And then next up we have Trey. Charlotte tried to make it work with Trey. She really did. They went through a lot, and you know, they were able to manage it. And then she wanted kids and he wasn't having that, so they broke up. He was respectful towards her, at least. He didn't let his mom walk over her and everything. She got what she wanted in the divorce, so you can say that. So yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of split on it. Next up, we got Harry. Harry annoyed me so bad because of that scene where she cooks that whole dinner and then he wants to watch the game. She made that whole dinner for you and you're that focused on watching the game, and he muted it and everything like that. And they can say, oh, what she said was wrong afterwards. No shade. I really could care less what she said afterwards. I could care less what she said afterwards because she was right. Like, I did all this for you and you can't even pay attention to me and eat this dinner and everything. You want me to convert to a whole religion and everything like that for you. Like, what are you going to do for me? Like, you're going to go and watch the TV? Like, I'm still mad about that scene. Because that was so disrespectful, and they get back together and everything. For the most part, he was good and everything, but I'm sorry. Charlotte versus you, I'm sorry. Like, there can be no flaws because Charlotte, face card 8. And then next up, we got the Alexander Petrovsky guy. And so basically, yeah, he kind of ate in the beginning. He really did. Like, he was always there for Carrie. Like, he paid for her apartment whenever they were going. Like, for the most part, they didn't have like a whole lot of big arguments and everything. Like, he was a gentleman. He paid for everything. He was straightforward. You know, I liked him in the beginning. But then at the end, they had to do all this character assassination about him not being there for Carrie and the accidental slap, which really was accidental. Would never condone domestic violence and everything like that. So like, then they had that moment and everything, and so they just fucked up his character because they wanted her to end up with Big. But the original, it was goated. At the end, it was fucked up, but they just wanted to fuck up his character so bad. And then next up, I have Big. So why do I have Big in C tier, not D tier? It's really simple. Big gave a lot to the show. Obviously, I don't like Big's character because he constantly jerks Carrie around and stuff like that. Basically with the whole thing, like every time she moved on, like he always came back in and like wanted to be with her. That whole affair that they had whenever she was dating Aiden and he was married to Natasha and everything. The whole Paris situation, like he fucked her over and did her wrong so many times. Like I said, him basically leaving her at the altar was really fucked up as well. That second movie, Chow, like he did her wrong a lot of times. So I don't really condone his actions. There were some times where he was in the right, like that time that she has to come over and everything and he was watching something and then she was like all over him. Like, he told you he was busy. He told you he was doing something. So there was a few times where he was right, maybe like 5 times where he was right, but 9 times out of 10 it was him fucking Carrie over. But the big overarching story of the show is Carrie and Big. Like, that's what everybody talks about the show. That's where all the discourse is and everything. So that's kind of why I have to add it, because he added a lot to the show, whether you like it or not. It was one of the big points of the show, no pun intended. So it's kind of like splitting hairs. So that's why I put him in C tier. I don't condone his character or men like that at all. That's kind of just why I put it there. And then next up, we got Stanford. Stanford added nothing to the show for me. We can pack it up. And then next up, we got Burger. He was just insecure. The fact that you forced her to ride on a motorcycle to her premiere, which she didn't want to do, you went too fast. And then what is it called? You got mad whenever she called that out. You let the premiere all pouty and everything. When she called out something from your book, you got all hurt. Like, he was just so insecure that she had a successful career. Sorry, no one's buying your book. Like, just insecure. I forgot who this was. I think this was Magda. If it is Magda, then probably like C tier, honestly, because she wasn't a main character in the show and everything. I think that's who that was, at least. But yeah. Really quickly, giving my review of the 2 movies. The first movie, I feel like the acting was not giving until like halfway through. It's like they forgot how to act their characters, okay? And then like that whole storyline of Steve cheating on Miranda made no sense. And then basically trying to guilt trip her into forgiving him. I didn't really care for that. I don't think Charlotte had a big storyline in that as well. The Carrie and Big of it all, getting married, him leaving her. It's just like really, and then her getting with him at the end. Like, what was the point? Samantha leaving Smith because she wants to go be with other people. Like, the movie was not that good, honestly, and I don't really want to think of it as canon to the show. Okay, and then the second movie, I think they went to what, Abu Dhabi, and it was just ridiculous. Like a lot of times, whenever they're depicting other cultures, like it's just racially insensitive or racist at best, and it's just like who's writing the scripts, like who's having this perspective. And I agree with people that every time they had like black people on a show or whatever, like they always had people be very stereotypical, and I didn't appreciate that. And so like there was that. Her and Big kind of get into it because he doesn't want to get up and do shit. He always wants to eat at home and everything. So like they kind of get into it and everything. And then, like, I think they break up for a point. She dyes her hair, which looks awful. Her as a brunette is not giving. So, like, they had communication issues there and everything, and they want to, like, split up. They go on the trip. Aiden's there for some reason. She kisses Aiden. She feels horrible. She tells Vic to get back together at the end. Miranda quits her job. She's happy with that. Samantha is doing Samantha things and continuously being with people. They didn't ever give her storylines with depth for a reason. And that really frustrates me. Shaw's storyline is about her being overwhelmed as a mom and the toll that's taking to her. Maybe a funny line or two, but second movie was bad. First movie was mid, and thank God Kim Cattrall said enough. I'm not doing a third movie, okay? So yeah, that's my take on it. I think Sex and the City has to be one of my favorite shows of all time. I watched some of it. I don't remember how old I was, but like a few years ago, I never finished it for some reason, and I usually finish everything. So I think it was last year I watched the whole thing, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't watch the movies back then, and then I just watched it again. But it's a classic. It's a classic. The theme song is absolutely iconic, and I like these characters, what they bring to the show, the aesthetic of it, that 90s aesthetic, that New York aesthetic. Like, it ate. I'm sorry. Also, I will say that season 6 of Sex and the City 8. Season 6 of Sex and the City 8. Like, the aesthetics, the money, the budget. That's kind of what sucks with shows is, like, why did they make the last season one of their best seasons? Like, right? When they're kind of, like, going on to, like, a new era and, like, they put so much money into it. Like, that's the end. Like, it's sickening. It's sickening, okay? Like, the budget was budgeting. Sex and the City 8. I'm so sorry. Like, so many good things about the show. Some things that didn't age well and everything. And yeah, but I think it's an interesting conversation a lot of times about sexuality and women, especially women. But that's my take on Sex and the City. Let me know what you guys think down below. Your favorite characters, your favorite moments, your favorite episodes, and we can kind of continue that conversation. But yeah.